The Wild West, a land of lawlessness where outlaws and gunslingers ruled with an iron fist. From daring train heists to deadly duels at high noon, these men and women etched their names into history through blood and bullets. Their names struck fear into the hearts of townsfolk. Some became legends, others became ghost stories. But all of them had one thing in common. They were among the most feared gunslingers to ever walk the frontier. Holster up and join us as we count down the 10 deadliest outlaws in Wild West history. And if you love gripping tales of the past, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the West is full of stories they never told you. And trust me, you won't believe who's number one. Number 10, the Sundance Kid, the shadow behind Butch Cassidy. He was quicker than most and deadlier than many. Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, better known as the Sundance Kid, was born in 1867 in Pennsylvania. While Butch Cassidy may have been the mastermind, Sundance was the deadly enforcer of the Wild Bunch. With razor-sharp aim and a quicker-than-lightning draw, he became one of the most feared gunmen of his time. Together, he and Butch Cassidy pulled off some of the most daring train and bank robberies across the American West. But their journey didn't end there. When the law closed in, they vanished to South America, hoping for a fresh start. In 1908, they were allegedly killed in a Bolivian shootout. But rumors say Sundance survived, living under a new identity. Did he truly escape? Or was this the last stand of a Wild West legend? Number 9, Bill Doolin, the mastermind behind the Doolin-Dalton gang. A strategic mastermind with a six-shooter to match. Born in 1858, Bill Doolin wasn't just a gunslinger, he was a criminal genius. As the leader of the Doolin-Dalton gang, he orchestrated meticulously planned bank heists, train robberies, and stagecoach holdups across the Oklahoma Territory. His crew? They didn't just shoot their way through the West, they outwitted it. For years, Doolin stayed one step ahead of the law, but in 1896, his luck finally ran out. A posse cornered him in Lawton, Oklahoma. Outgunned and refusing to surrender, he met his violent end in a hail of bullets at the age of 38. But if you think he was bad, wait until you hear about Sam Bass. Number 8, Sam Bass, the gambler turned train robber. He started as a nobody. By the time he died, he was one of the most wanted men in Texas. Born in 1851, Sam Bass wasn't always an outlaw. First, he was a gambler, then a cattle driver. But everything changed in 1877 when he and his gang pulled off one of the biggest train heists of the era, stealing $65,000 in gold coins from a Union Pacific train. The robbery made him famous, but it also made him a marked man. By 1878, the Texas Rangers were hot on his trail. An informant betrayed him, leading to a brutal shootout. Bass was captured, but succumbed to his injuries 2 days later. His name still echoes through outlaw legend. But if you think this was intense, wait until you hear about the deadliest woman in the Wild West. Number 7, Etta Place, the mysterious lady of the Wild Bunch. A ghost, a legend, a woman lost to history. Etta Place remains one of the greatest mysteries of the Wild West. She was Sundance Kid's companion, a sharpshooter, and a rider as fearless as any man. She followed Butch and Sundance to South America, joining them in their final stand. After their time in South America, Etta vanished from historical records. Some say she returned to the U.S. under an alias. Others believe she died alongside Sundance in Bolivia. But one thing's for sure, Etta Place wasn't just a pretty face. She was a true outlaw of the Wild West. Number 6, Jim Miller, the cold-blooded assassin. A Texas Ranger turned hitman, Jim Miller wasn't just an outlaw, he was an executioner. Born in 1861, he became one of the deadliest hired guns in history, allegedly killing between 12 and 50 men. Unlike other gunslingers, Miller never killed in a rage. He did it for money, cold, calculated, no remorse. But in 1909, his past caught up with him. A mob dragged him from his jail cell in Ada, Oklahoma, and lynched him, along with 3 other outlaws on the spot. His last words, "Let her rip," became legendary, encapsulating his fearless persona. Number 5, John Wesley Hardin, the boy who became a killer at 15, a legend before 20, a dead man by 42. John Wesley Hardin wasn't just an outlaw, he was a natural-born killer. Born in 1853, Hardin fired his first deadly shot at just 15 years old. By the time he was captured, he had allegedly killed 27 men, though some claim the number was much higher. Known for his quick temper and even quicker draw, Hardin left behind a trail of bodies, lawmen, outlaws, even an innocent man snoring too loudly in a hotel. In 1877, the law finally caught up with him. Sentenced to 17 years in prison, Hardin studied law and became a lawyer upon his release. But the Old West never forgets. In 1895, an off-duty police officer shot him in the back inside a saloon in El Paso, Texas. Hardin lived by the gun and died by it. Number 4, Butch Cassidy, the gentleman outlaw. Some outlaws were ruthless killers, but Butch Cassidy, he was something different. Born Robert Leroy Parker in 1866, Cassidy wasn't just an outlaw, he was a mastermind. He led the Wild Bunch, a notorious gang known for bank and train heists executed with precision and style. But what set Butch apart? He had a code. Unlike other outlaws, Cassidy preferred robbing without bloodshed. He relied on planning, deception, and charm rather than violence. With his trusted partner, the Sundance Kid, they pulled off some of the biggest robberies in the West. But as the law closed in, Butch and Sundance vanished into South America. In 1908, they were allegedly killed in Bolivia during a fierce shootout. Or were they? Rumors suggest Butch Cassidy faked his death, returning to the U.S. under a new identity. The truth? We may never know. Number 3, Belle Starr, the Bandit Queen. In a world ruled by men, she made her own rules. Belle Starr, born in 1848, was more than just an outlaw. She was a legend. Nicknamed the Bandit Queen, she surrounded herself with dangerous men, including Jesse James and the Younger Brothers. But make no mistake, Belle wasn't just a bystander. She ran with the outlaws, harbored fugitives, and blackmailed the rich. Though she wasn't known for robbing banks or trains herself, she profited from crime and lived by the gun. In 1889, Belle was gunned down from behind while riding home. The shooter never identified. Her murder remains a mystery, but her legacy as the Wild West's most notorious woman lives on. Number 2, Billy the Kid, the West's most legendary gunslinger. Few names strike fear and fascination like Billy the Kid. Born Henry McCarty in 1859, Billy lived fast and died young, becoming one of the most famous outlaws in history. By the time he was 18, Billy had already killed a man. By 21, he had become a wanted fugitive, engaging in gunfights, cattle rustling, and outlaw warfare. He became a central figure in the Lincoln County War, fighting against corrupt businessmen and lawmen. His legend? Fueled by rumor and gunfire. Some say he killed 21 men, one for each year of his life. Historians estimate the real number was closer to 9, but that didn't stop his infamy from spreading. In 1881, Sheriff Pat Garrett finally caught up with him. One fatal shot, and the West's most famous outlaw was no more. Or was he? Some say Billy survived and lived out his days under a different name. Truth or myth? That's for history to decide. Number 1, Jesse James, the most feared outlaw of them all. And finally, the most feared outlaw of the Wild West, Jesse James. Born in 1847, Jesse James didn't start as an outlaw. He started as a Confederate guerrilla, raiding Union camps with brutal efficiency. After the Civil War, he and his brother Frank James formed the James Younger Gang, a crew that became legendary for their daring robberies. Jesse robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches, spreading chaos across multiple states. To some, he was a Robin Hood, a rebel fighting against the system. But in reality, he was a ruthless killer. The law couldn't catch him, but betrayal could. In 1882, one of his own gang members, Robert Ford, shot him in the back, hoping to collect the reward money. And just like that, Jesse James was dead. His death marked the end of an era, but his legend? that will never die. The outlaws of the Old West weren't just criminals. They were symbols of rebellion, survival, and bloodshed. From Billy the Kid's reckless youth to Jesse James' cold-blooded demise, their stories still haunt the pages of history. But now I have a question for you. Which outlaw do you think was the most feared? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more untamed stories from history.